Well, y'all, if you look at Marvel's roster, they kind of
Yeah.
don't have that many prominent solo female characters. Like after She-Hulk, like there's not too many. There aren't too many solo female characters. Wasp, I guess. Scarlet Witch.
No, I guess Wanda a little bit, a little
And then
bit.
after that, see, we get a little shaky. So I just always wondered what would happen if they gave, someone else the same kind of push that they kind of gave Carol. Carol was already kind of like,
Yo, 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 hello, hello, everyone. We are back to another relaunch. We're your host. I'm Keenan. Oh, we're supposed to have a name. Um.
hmm
Oh, I'll be Lucky the pizza dog.
oh, that's cute.
Right?
I will be Dr. Dane.
Yeah,
Dr.
I was
Lorna
Dr.
Dane.
Dang. Okay, okay,
You got
Dr.
to remind them again, baby. That's Polaris.
And we were reminded. How are you? How was your holiday, my friend?
Oh, it was great. My parents are still back in Chicago, but I was like not gonna fly back and do all of that. So I have to stay here and have Friendsgiving with some friends, and it was great. I am nobody's chef, um,
Period.
but I baked a peach cobbler, as like a sweet or whatever, and brought that over, and then I bought a pumpkin pie.
Okay. Period.
Because I was like, I ain't doing all of that. I'll contribute something, but like I ain't doing all of that.
I know that's right. I would not. I would not.
What'd you do?
But so my family we did a Thanksgiving brunch this year, which
Oh,
was
that's nice.
yeah, which was really nice. So my aunt, who actually doesn't drink at all, she went to the liquor store and like she got tons of wines and tons of liquors and she got a little bit of everything. So I was like popping them. I felt a little attacked because as I started going popping bottles, she was like, "Oh, look at Keenan, he just popping them corks off." And her husband was like, "Oh, I didn't think Keenan was gonna have any problem drinking." And I was like, "Excuse me."
They called you
uh,
out.
Right. But then it was nice. I was talking to my little cousin. She's the Natasha Stain, and
Okay.
I'm convinced
Did
she's
she
the
like the
smart.
movie?
She did. She thought it was cool. She was
Okay.
like, it was Natasha's moment, so she was here for her. But of course, she was upset. She's like, oh, I'll still never get to see her again. We said, that's life. But I'm convinced she's the smartest
Oh.
person in our family now. She was telling us about like she's about to go to high school, which made me feel very old. And
Oh no.
she's like telling me how she's looking at high schools and I'm like, what you mean, just go to the one down the street? But she's like looking at private high schools. She's telling me about this one that has a
Okay.
pre-law program that she wants to go to, another one that has like a
In
lot of
high school?
engineering program. That's what I thought. I was like, what? I was like, okay, good. We played Connect Four. She beat my ass a couple times, and it was like and then she was beating
It's
everybody
giving
too
prodigy.
because she ended up beating my aunt's husband a couple of times too. So I was like, okay, I didn't feel as bad, but that was good for her. I was like, hey, did you watch Hawkeye? Because that's what I can talk about.
I love that. But you know what? What other things we can talk about are these comics. So let's go ahead and get into it. First up is Catwoman number 37. Now, I know you are still digging Selena right now, Ram V. Is this his last issue?
The next one is
Okay.
yeah, man, this is I was tweeting about this the other day. I've always kind of had a fondness for Selena. I think she's a cool character. Catwoman's dope. Her whip is nice. The heels are skin tight, obviously.
She's that girl. She's a doll.
We're here for it. But I think this run has done a really good job at just kind of giving you the personality and the person that Selena is behind all of that. Like everything she's been doing with Alleytown and kind of taking over and helping the people on the street and like the network she's built up of villains and like anti-heroes of her own. It's kind of reminded you that she's just as smart and savvy as Batman. And that
Mm.
this is why I think a lot of times some people kind of look at Batman and Catwoman and they kind of want to like what do they do together? Because Batman's supposed to be this super big kung fu smart guy master, whatever, and you think like, oh, Catwoman's just a thief, and like this run reminds you that she is not just a thief. She is like a queen pin. She has her own set of skills. She can fight. She can do this. She can outthink people. She outthinks the Riddler, who betrays her in the book, and she's like, boy, I knew you were going to do that. She's like, I know who you are. And she's like, and I've already planned for it, and like, and this is what I've done. And it's like, yes, like this is just a really good run, and it's gonna be sad to see it. I'm still excited for the next creative team. You know, Teeny's coming over, and she's taking Selena down to the strip club, so that's gonna be really fun.
That's right.
But I think Ram's done a really good job, and I'm just excited to kind of see how this last issue is gonna end up. I would definitely give this issue like another 4 out of 5. The artist Nina Vakuva, Laura Braga helps on some of the pages, which we also got to talk about Vakuva a little bit. I don't know if you remember, she's been doing some of those Black Widow issues.
Yes.
The girl's works. She's quick.
Okay. Yes.
She's
and good.
Quick. And good, and because I've seen her name on a couple of comics that have been coming out like within months of each other. And for those who know, like they always say it takes 30 days to make a comic book. And so it's like, girl, you got these issues coming out back to back to back. You working?
Okay.
I love it. All across different series. I'm here for it. Shout out to
I didn't know she was on. I know she was on art over there. You know, Selena has been a character that I've always just like liked in media, and have read a little bit about her. And I've got so many other comics to get into, but I'm definitely going to add this one to my list because
you should. It's a good one.
I got to.
It's good.
All right. Up next is Aquaman Green Arrow Deep Target #2. Now, this is a special mini coming out that seems random because I didn't know Aquaman and Green Arrow were friends, but
they're not. So this issue is written by Brandon Thomas. Again, he is writing Aquaman The Becoming. And let me check the art really quick. The art is done by Ronan Cliquette. And I think I said this the first time. The story feels very random. And this is no disrespect to the Green Arrow fans, but I don't think any Aquaman fans have been waiting for them to team up. And vice versa. I feel like I said that before. And this felt like something that was just, 80th anniversary, let's put these two characters together. And it still does feel like that. However, I will say the second issue was a lot stronger than the first one. Where before it felt a little odd and awkward, I kind of realized, at least this is what I think, that Thomas is using this as more of a showcase for Arthur himself. So the basic premises seems like Aquaman and Green Arrow have woken up and they have lived each other's lives. We see Ollie is like king of the sea. He's got on his own little all green Aquaman suit. He's using the trident. Arthur is dressed up in Green Arrow's gear, and he's using bow and arrows and stuff. And so Aquaman's like the correct Aquaman, Arthur. I gotta say their real names because they're using each other's names. It's confusing. Arthur is like coming to Ollie. He's like, what happened? What did you do? What do you remember? And Ollie's like, I only remember this. This is the life I have. And Arthur's obviously like, no, something's right. And then when I say that, I think Thomas has been using this to showcase Arthur because obviously Ollie has the trident. But even though he says he knows how to use it, he doesn't really. And so Arthur still seems to have like a lot of knowledge of everything that's going on. So he's really directing Ollie on how to do things. He's like, you need to do this, you need to do that. And then we're getting a sense of what the trident does. But in the same token, because Arthur can't rely on his abilities right now, he's using like his natural fighting skills. He's using his natural leadership skills. And he's kind of like really calling the shots. And it's like, oh, okay, is this how you're going to be writing him in the Aquaman series? It's like,
okay.
And so it's like,
giving you a little taste of what you're about to see.
Exactly. And so like by having them switched over, he can give us both of that. He can show us that Arthur can do all of this stuff without his powers, but by having Ollie do it, he's showing us what he'll be capable of when he goes back to his natural state. Which is like
that's
dope.
Cool.
So I was like, for that, and again, like it feels like a big action movie. Like they're fighting people all the time. They're like on a airplane, someone's trying to shoot them down. Ollie like jumps on top of it and uses the trident to like ricochet the bullets away. Some interesting things happening there, so it's fun in that regard. If you're looking for some fights, step on over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what would you rate the issue?
I'd give it like a 3.5 out of 5. Again, like the story, you don't really know what's going on. It still doesn't feel like these two needed to have this, but if we're gonna have it and do it, all right, let's just have some fun with it. The art feels a lot stronger this go round. The character voices feel a little bit more on point, especially Arthur. Again, I'm ready. It's getting me more excited for the Aquaman book.
All right. All right, well, stay tuned for more of that, y'all. All right, up next is Astonishing Times #5, and this is written by Frank J. Barbary and R.S. Quinones, and art by Rory Coleman. Now, this was I think it was the final issue of this arc, but I don't know if it's the final of this like series, which kind of
Okay.
made me wonder how this was going to go. So, like, this is the follow up to last issue where we had our guy Infinite, who I was like a big fan of. He ended up like killing the one superhero, and then the other superhero tried to attack him, who had super speed, and he killed him too. And he let everyone know that this like infinity engine thing, this bomb that he was working on that was going to like help the world or something, has been turned on and activated, so it's going to go off. And this is pretty much everything that's happening there. We learned that um, in Infinite is basically kind of like Omni-Man, if you remember in Invincible, where he
Yeah.
came from another planet and was going to like destroy it basically, but he like turned a new leaf because he ended up like liking humans or whatever. He just became a superhero. But he was sent there to destroy it. Now he turns out that his name is Infinite because his powers, he's connected to like the universe.
Yeah.
Like as long as the universe exists, he exists. So he's like his power is infinite. He can kind of do a lot. Um, and he, I guess, was going to be using his own like they were trying to um like siphon his powers basically and try to figure out how they could use it to give other people powers. So during all this explosions, our guy Noah, who was a reporter, he ends up getting out of his like mind wipe, which I didn't really like because the black girl was a telepath and like I was hoping I was gonna see more of her, but he like, yeah, she like couldn't do it. So he like gets up from the mind wipe and she's like, oh my God, no one's ever been able to do that before. And they're like freaking out. And she tells him that like we were trying to isolate Infinite's powers here to like help change the world, but I'm getting up out of here. Just let you know, here's the serum. Do with it what you will if you're gonna go after Infinite. So he ends up trying to go after Infinite. He takes the serum. He gets his own powers. They have this fight, which was pretty cool to see. And then the engine is about to explode, and Infinite takes it off into space because he ends up having like a, the come to kumbaya moment where he's like, I shouldn't have been doing this bad stuff here, and I should have been being a superhero. So he takes the engine and explodes in the sky. I personally didn't like that because I like when characters like this exist, but then they have to kind of deal with the repercussions of their actions afterwards and how they kind of operate. So I wish he wouldn't have died in the end. But
you need the people
Noah
to be
ends
mad
up
at him.
exactly. I want the people to be mad at him. But Noah ends up like writing the entire story and tells the truth about Infinite and publishes it because he was like a reporter. And I don't know if he told everybody that like he had powers because there at the end of it there's like his eyes glow a little bit. It's like in a continue kind of thing. So like I don't know if he had the powers because at the compound where they were doing this, they found out that people were able to gain abilities, but then like it burned you out really quickly and then you died. But at the end of this, his eyes were still glowing. So who knows? But like overall, I really liked this series, and it was like drawn beautifully and really well done. It kind of felt like, oh, this is the end, but I don't know. When I checked out the writer's Twitter and stuff, it seems as if it's like, oh, this was just the first arc. That's kind of what they.
So we might be coming back for more.
But I don't know.
Okay, I mean, especially like
It's
in
a
those
comiXology original.
Oh, I was about to say, so that probably gives them a little bit more leeway to definitely come back too. But I was just thinking about, a lot of indie titles in general, they do that very frequently. They take their breaks. Snot Girl, which is a comic that I like, it takes breaks. I'll never forget. They finally came back with an issue after maybe I want to say like 6 months or something like that. And then at the end of the issue, it was like, "Thanks for waiting, guys. Just to let you know, we're going on hiatus again." It's just like, okay, that's fine. It's like I'm sure you'll come back eventually. It's just like you just gotta wait sometimes.
Yeah.
But what would you rate it?
You know what? I would end up giving this a 3.5. It felt a little rushed as far as like the ending of this because maybe this is the end. But I thought I was going to get to know a little bit more about the universe itself and everything in that goes on there. But Hopefully we do. Maybe they'll end up like, doing more with it. So we'll see.
Okay.
All right. Up next is Death of Doctor Strange #3. And take it away because I want to know about if there's a certain sorcerer in this book. Because I'm going to talk about her later.
Oh, okay. So this is by Jed McKay and Lee Garbage on art, and this continues to be probably one of the
I like his art.
Doctor Strange stories. Yeah, he's really good. I will say though about the art, I do feel like it's not. I think the colors should be different. I feel like a lot of things that's happening in this book, it kind of gives off a horror feel. It's like the Death of Doctor Strange. It's a murder mystery. There are monsters coming from other universes. They're bringing like these Earth-ending type of demonic babies. It's like you expect it to be a little bit muddier and darker, kind of scary, and this is very bright. It's almost. I think I've said this about a couple of some. This is like my go-to phrase, but it's like watching a scary movie in the daytime.
Okay.
It just like it doesn't give off that same feel, but the art itself is still very good. And here we have Clea, and she's kind of explaining to the Avengers what's going on with the three mothers. That girl. She's explaining about the three mothers who are like the kind of magician monster women we met last issue, about what they're doing and how they're trying to bring this baby who's just always hungry and he's going to feed on all life. And so normally they go for like one super powerful magical being, and that's why all of the warlords of magic fled to Earth. Because they're like, oh, they can just come destroy Earth instead of where I was. And so, it has in a moment where the Avengers are like, okay, well, we got to go and try and stop these things. And then through that, Doctor Strange is talking about how he still needs to figure out who murdered him. Because remember, there's like a timeless version of him that is here for a week to try and figure out who did it. Him and Clea have a little moment, and she kind of explains to him about where they were at when they last saw each other and how he erased his memories of her against her will because he made a deal with Mephisto, and like she only got them back when he died. And now here she is with this younger version of him who who doesn't know her at all. And so she kisses him, and he's like, "Hold on, girl, I ain't the guy you like." So back up off me. He's like, and it wouldn't be fair of me to take advantage of your pain. So they go about their way. They find out some energy about who is supposed to kill him. So while they're doing that, going to find who killed Strange, the three mothers have found a couple of the different magical warlords, and they're going and killing them. And they're fighting off, and we come to find out that they've been looking for Doctor Strange's cape in the Eye of Agamotto. Baron Mordo has them. And
okay.
So he popped up in the first issue talking about how, oh, who killed Doctor Strange? It was supposed to be me. They find out apparently he did kill Doctor Strange because they say it seems like he took the energy from some of the other warlords. He worked with them to kill Strange, and so the last page is him behind the door cowering with the cape in the eye because Strange, Clea, and Wong are here and they're about to take him down.
Oh, right. This is getting hot now. Okay.
Yeah, it's good. I definitely rate this a 3.5. Again, the story's really good. It's one of the more interesting Doctor Strange ones. I think McKay has a really good voice for a lot of the characters. I like the art. Like I said, I think the colors could be a little bit different to make it just a little bit, but it's hot. I think people should get into it for sure.
Okay. Do you see this having repercussions, or do you think he's going to come back at the end?
No, I think there's definitely going to be a new Strange, or a new Sorcerer Supreme.
Okay. Have they started to drop hints at who you think it might be?
No. I personally think it's just maybe going to end up being Clea since she's here now. But
okay,
we might get some potentials in issue 4 and get a surprise or something like that. There's also this girl who's kind of been working with Strange. She was his apprentice. It could be her.
Okay. Who do you want it to be?
Wiccan.
Okay, and next up is Wolverine #18, and tell us who was on the creative team for this issue.
This has still been Percy, and I think they had a guest artist. Hold on, let me look it up real quick. But Percy writes a really good Wolverine. I'm sorry.
He does.
I just can't take that away from him. He writes a really good Logan. Paco Diaz is on art, and so I've said it before. I get a little frustrated with Logan's character sometimes because I feel like they keep just making him do the same old thing. He is like that soldier, that bulldog, that attack guy, blah blah blah. It would be nice to see him just chill out be happy for a little bit, maybe direct the kids. You know how in Batman Beyond you had old Bruce just directing them, Terry. Let him
Mm-hmm.
just do that for Daken and Laura. But Percy gives us a nice little action issue here, and it's nice because it's a reminder of who Logan is, and that Logan is like, there's a reason he is the best there is at what he does. You know what I'm saying?
Let's wake it up.
Yeah, so they come into contact with Maverick, who has revealed that he's working for the enemy, and Wolverine's like, it's not that simple. He kind of just doesn't have loyalty to anybody but himself, like due to something that happened to him. And so the issue is kind of them chasing after Logan and his friend Ben the cop. And Logan's just taking him down, and he's like fighting and he's doing things. There's this really cool scene where they're in a meat truck, and he like takes one of the giant pieces of meat out and like throws it at the helicopter that's following them and like into the blade, so they go off balance there. And then he's like talking with Sage. He's like, get us through this gate. And I was like, come on, Logan, like showing me a little tactics, showing me a little
All
like
right, yes.
strategy. Like you know what you're
not
doing.
just like running into something.
Yeah, you know, he's like taking people down, and it's like really cool to see. And he has like a moment with Forge. I really like the Wolverine and Forge relationship they built, where they're just like these two big muscle guys, kind of always in low key competition with each other, but they still like each other because they just drinking buddies. So they have a cute moment.
Always bringing up that he's just built something.
Always. And Wolverine even says that to him. He's like, oh, what did you build today? He's just like, whatever. There's like a fun data page where Forge is going through some of his notes, and at the end of it, he makes a note to himself to remember to do 100 squats. And I was like, I know that's right.
That's right.
The guy, again, like this is another issue. I think it felt like just a big action espionage type of movie. Ben's having meetings with people who get shot through the chest while they're in the restaurant. Wolverine's chasing after them. It's good. It's just like a fun action-packed Wolverine story, and like that's what you like. But again, I still say I wouldn't mind him chilling out for a little bit.
Yeah. It seems like that's what it's going to be leading towards with this X Lives of Wolverine, X Deaths of Wolverine. So
X Lives and Deaths of Wolverine, which I'm still very excited for, and I hope it is a nice enough, because the last Wolverine event was not that exciting.
The Death of Wolverine.
Yeah,
that wasn't a business.
And then there was the Hunt for Wolverine when he came back.
Oh yeah, didn't really like that one either.
Yeah, so it's like I'm hoping this is just like a nice.
When they gave Laura those 2 streaks in her hair,
child. I love how everyone kind of also ignores the hot claws.
That's because it was just not good.
I'll never.
That's funny. I don't even think that was ever like re-retconned away. I think everyone just decided to just ignore it.
Sewell was the only one who did it. And he was like defending it. He thought it was so cool, and I was just like, "Baby, this just don't make any sense. Like, why is this man claws heating up?"
Yeah.
Who changes Wolverine's powers?
I don't know. He tried, but we all just said no.
That's crazy. Which, now that I think about it, also, Wolverine shouldn't have adamantium in his claws anymore.
He shouldn't, but we kind of ignore that.
Is that what we're doing?
Yeah. What would you rate the issue?
Oh, a 4 out of 5.
Oh,
it was good. I'm sorry, but Percy writes a really good Logan, and it's like fun and it's action packed, and it's like he's doing the damn thing, and that's like, this is what I like to see. If you gonna give me Wolverine nonsense, make it good, and this is good.
Fair. All right, up next is X-Men number 5, and this is the final book of the week. And this was written by Jerry Duggan and art by Javier Pina. And this was just another X-Men issue. A day in the life of the team of the X-Men. This one was the Polaris-centric issue where they were. Every issue pretty much so far has been about like one character basically, and you kind of dive into where they are at this moment or on the team or whatever. And this one was the Polaris issue, and I enjoyed it. I liked it. There were definitely some things that I didn't like.
Well, let's talk about that.
Overall, Why don't you start?
Um,
What did
what did I like, or what did I think?
what did you think
Oh, I didn't like
about the
this.
issue? Okay.
And I'm starting to realize that I might not enjoy this book the way that I thought it was. Again, we've said it before. The X books are kind of at a place where everything's like, I don't know what's going on. So I'm trying to take everything at face value. I understand that this book is supposed to be like very light superhero fanfare. They're kind of just got like a big threat. X-Men doing what they got to do, saving the day, and like that's cool and that's fun. I feel like what's happening in this, especially with this book giving each character its own focus, it's giving us all of these things about them, but it's not really pulling any connection from, like, I guess the past, or like saying why these things are going on, or like why they really feel this way. You're just like telling me, and so I'm losing kind of a connection with the team as a whole. And then I also feel like while you can focus an issue around one person, a big part of that is how they interact with everybody else. And I feel like when we've been focusing on these singular characters, they're not getting any chance to really interact with anybody else. And that, again, makes this team as a whole feel a little bit inorganic. And some of the moments we do get don't always feel that natural. I think specifically of the way that Laura is written in this book. I'm not even the biggest Laura fan, and she feels weird.
She feels like a female Logan.
Yes, and that is like nowhere near what the character should be. I think the only person who has written a really bad Laura, unfortunately, was Chris Claremont, and that's because he just kind of wrote her as like a savage girl. She was like growling at people and like
it was
like
bad.
that's not what that girl do. And so this one, she's a little like rough. She's a little brusque, and it's like, maybe, I don't know, maybe that'll be something of the story. Maybe Duggan is saying like, oh, Laura's on the X-Men, so she feels like she gotta act like Logan. That's what's happening. But at the same time, it's like, was anybody else gonna notice this? That she seems a little bit different? Is she like, or is, again, this is just something that we're
Jean probably could. She be always in somebody's business.
Okay, as we saw. I didn't like the whole Lorna thing about her vote. I'm not gonna lie to you. Lorna might not even be my favorite character, but I was really excited to kind of see a speech from her. Like why she wanted to be on the X-Men, why she wanted to do this. Like, again, pulling from those past experiences. This is the girl who was on Genosha when it exploded. We found her crying naked, and she made statues in representation of her daddy. So it's like, I wanted to see some of that pride. She was the door of the House of M, and it was like, no, just pick me. And it was like, girl, what? And then it's like, no, she didn't even get that moment because it was changed from her, from Jean, to be like, oh, when she was originally going to say, just not me. What?
Other way. It was the other way.
Oh, whatever. But no, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't really enjoy that little bit of it. And then even so, when you come back to it later and she's talking to Jean about it, and she's like, I don't think I'm ready for this. I don't know if I'm in the space for this right now. I would have appreciated more if she was really like, I don't know if I'm in the space for this right now. But the comment of, oh, I don't think I'm ready for this, that didn't feel like Lorna to me, because the Lorna who I have read, she'd be ready for anything. And she'd be ready to throw down.
She did say right now.
Well, didn't she say that? She was like, I don't know if I'm ready for this, or I'm ready for this right now.
She said, I don't know if I'm right for this or right for this right now.
Right for this. Yeah, like, why wouldn't you be right for it, girl? You've been here. You might not have been like on this official main superhero team, but you've been here. You've been doing this. And then it's like, we didn't really get too deep into it. And then it's
that's the part.
Yeah, it's like, we won't get too deep into like.
That's the part about her. That's the part about her character. Is like I've always said that like Lorna is the type of character that exists in like that middle space, and it's like she isn't someone who is like who wants to be in the spotlight, but also kind of wants to be in the spotlight. So it's like that part about this that I completely that I got, but I think you were looking for like a stand up in your face kind of moment.
I guess maybe I would have been like, I don't even know I don't know. I think I just wanted more meat to her story. I feel like what, like, what's going on there? Especially again when every issue is kind of supposed to be spotlit on a different character. If like this was the moment to really get into Lorna, then like let's get into her a little bit, because does that mean we won't really get too much of a focus on her in the future? Because like I'm still
Mm-hmm.
left wanting a little bit. I'm still left like needing a little bit, like to just know like, oh, okay, you've still gone through a lot, doll. Like what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like the whole Jean thing, but that's
I
just
mean,
more. And like for me, it's not even a thing of like what Jean did, like what she did. All the telepaths do it. I don't care about that. But all the telepaths also get called out on it.
except
And every
her.
time, except Miss Gray, and it's just kind of like, all right, it's like it's getting a little ridiculous now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, especially Miss Lois
Except
Jean Grey.
I appreciated that my girl did call her out on this. She was like, I had to talk to you.
Mm.
Something's bothering me. And of course, Jean was like instantly like had a telepathic conversation, and Lorna's like, no, out loud, I want to talk to you. I didn't appreciate you. Like, why did you do this?
And Jean's
And
just
again,
like, oh,
I personally felt like it was it fit in my opinion in line with Lorna's character. She was either going to bring up Genosha
mm-hmm,
and make a stance about how I want to be on the superhero team because I want to go around and help mutants because I've been there before when things were bad.
mm-hmm,
Um, but the more I thought about that, the more I would have felt like that would have been the story she should have taken if she was in Marauders, the rescue team who was going to
mm-hmm.
go and rescue and bring people back to Krakoa.
Krakoa.
Amongst the superhero team, she's always been the one that is like, oh, that's cool. Like, I'll just go be on X Factor and like go get the job done. Even though I
Yeah.
kind of be with Betsy and Stormer now.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciated the fact that it was more of her like the softer side of her,
Mm-hmm.
her personality and the kind of the things that she's going through as far as like sometimes I want to be in the spotlight, but other times I don't,
Mm.
and like kind of existing. I
I
get it.
mean, I
I,
def- I mean, I defer. I
that's why
defer
I've
to
always
you.
been.
I deferred to you on anything Lorna related. Even before I had like tweeted about it, when I first read the issue and I was kind of like, I don't know if I like this. I said it. I was like, oh, let me text LZ to see what he thought first. I was like, because again, I've read a bit of Lorna, but there are very few instances. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think
Mhm.
they were ever things that really delve too much into her or what she is. So I've only seen her from kind of like a little bit of an outside view. You have gone like
Yeah,
into those deep dives of her and like really gone
yeah.
back and read those past X Factor issues from back in the day. And I have not. So it's like, if you say that's what if this is it, okay, that's cool. But then I think for me, it just kind of starts to make me look at it as like, oh, do I actually like Lorna?
For me, you may not. For me, it was the emotional stuff for her
Mm-hmm.
that felt right. But I do agree that like her moment was taken from her as far as like giving her speech as to why she wanted to be on the team to
Yeah.
showcase that Gina's nosy.
Okay.
Do you know
She
what I
should have
mean?
slapped her.
Because it's from the way I interpreted it was she probably was thinking her speech of whatever of like, who knows what it actually could be, but like she probably was thinking her own speech, and at the end of it, it was like pick me, and
Mm.
then she probably, like I've said before, she's the kind of character that is like it's not necessarily shying away from the spotlight, but it's like I don't even really want to be out there like that, but then like you kind of
Mm-hmm.
want to because you have the powers and you want to go do it.
Mm-hmm.
She's talked about it before in her um therapy sessions when she was in X Factor, and
Mm-hmm.
her therapist actually kind of clocked her and was like, how does it feel to be on this team when you are such a push and pull kind of person? You push people away because you don't want to be bothered, but then you also pull everyone in because you want everyone around you. And then she started crying.
Mm. Come on. They love
she,
to have the girls cry.
she did start
Uh,
crying. But like that was always something that I always kind of showed people as like a real quick thing of like, oh, what's Lorna's personality? And even back then, it kind of aligned with what we've talked about before when I brought up Hickman talking about how people's powers really like powers are kind of a reflection of their personalities, and the magnetism is a push and pull, and it's kind of like talked about where she kind of exists in that space. So it's like I don't want to be in the spotlight, but I also kind of want to be in the spotlight. It's like that thing that I would thought as far as like Genosha and stuff. Sometimes it is cool to interest for things to kind of reference the past, but then sometimes you can kind of just like it's not always harping on what you did in the past and how you like define your future. Sometimes you're just kind of deciding on how you are right now. So that's kind of how I see this. I'm looking at this as like the superhero team. She's never been on the.
That's fair.
Now, the book overall, in my opinion, is boring. I'm getting a little bored. Like I need a little bit more stakes in it. However, it's only the 5th issue. Like I would like a little bit more hype and excitement. But as far as like me, the Polaris stand and like her showcasing in it, I enjoyed what I saw.
Okay.
There could have been more. Oh yeah, there's always could be more. But I like what I saw, and I really appreciate that there was an inclusion of her calling Storm out, because I've been in moments before where like my friends know that I could dance. So like sometimes it's like,
come on,
oh well, it's Eric. But like I don't always want to be like the spotlight like that. That's just not me. But sometimes I do.
Okay, I mean that's fair. I don't know. I think, like I said, I just wanted a little bit more of like the connection to Lorna and her past. I think I was honestly just kind of frustrated that like she didn't get the moment, just so Jean could be nosy. And it's just like, girl.
That was the part I think, and in my opinion, that was one of the detriments of the issue. That and hammering in how the whole doctor thing, like,
oh yeah, that was bad. They kept and again, and that's what I was saying. Like they kept telling us these things about like her, like, oh, she's Dr. Dane. Yeah, okay, like was that a struggle for her or something? Like why is this such a big deal?
I don't, because it's on her Wikipedia page and people saw that. And because I think Leah Williams like hyped it up in the X Factor. I didn't read that run, but so like I think that was also like a thing in there.
I remember in the trial of Magneto that she said that first issue she said something like she got her doctorate and she got a PhD. Oh, I also this Ben Urich plot about him knowing about resurrection, handle it. I don't we done seen y'all infiltrating space missions. We done seen Jean being nosy, changing people's minds. We done seen Emma showing the Avengers do like she showed them the hatchery was like a vacation or beach spot, something like that. Like if y'all don't change that man's mind and destroy his papers
and keep it moving,
like let's go. What are we doing here? I thought we were proactive. I thought we were superheroes.
I loved Lorna's powers in this. Loved all her force fields in the beginning. Loved when she contained that like radiation explosion thing and took that up into space. That was dope. Loved the part where she showed her vision is like she can see the electromagnetic spectrum, like she doesn't have to see the way that everybody else sees. That was hot. Also, I mean, the one thing I've also said is that Lorna is not afraid to get aggressive. So she did not ripping the feelings hot.
I will say your doll has been getting her power moments in this run. She's been getting some nice little feats to add to this the rotation, and I'm happy for her for that, and I'm happy for you for that. She needed this.
I did wish that. I like the whole. I also like that Jean and Polaris. Like I like their relationship. The thing that I like about them and their friendship is that it's not forced best friends. I think that Jean's best friend is Storm. Polaris and Jean to me should always feel like, you know how you go to college and like those friends you meet freshman year.
Her oldest friend.
Yeah. It's like, oh, that's my girl, but like we not like that no more. But like. Yeah.
She's still cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is why Lorna should have slapped her.
Yeah. But I did appreciate that she called her out on the pulled her to the side and was like, girl, I don't appreciate that. And even called her annoying that you shouldn't have been in my head.
And Jean just like, oh girl, I did you a favor. Girl, I don't like it. It's very sanctimonious. It's very Miss Gray.
That's who she is.
She thinks just
She's
because her
gonna do
husband
it.
always standing over her shoulder, she can do whatever she wants. But your husband
He
can get
did.
the smoke too.
He is the batteries in her back sometimes. Yes.
Sometimes.
But she feels like that's what she was doing the right thing.
Anyway.
I would overall I would rate this issue a 3.5. Again, I've been enjoying the ride that Lorna's been going on within this Krakoa era. I don't know what's happening next because I think everything has been like kind of pushed back because of supply shortages and stuff. So
the books do keep getting pushed back. I don't because even I think the next Inferno issue doesn't come out until December 8th.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
We'll see. I think I'd rate this a 3. I still I don't know. Honestly, I forget who's on the team. I forgot Sunfire was a part of this book. Like, I actually forget Sunfire is a part of the book every single time I read it.
That's one of the issues I have right now. But I don't know if that's because he's doing the whole, well, okay, we'll take the first 6 issues and just give you each character, and then after that we're gonna get more team moments. But I do wish that we got more team moments. I want to see how their personalities all conflict with each other.
I don't know. We'll see. I'm still unsure of how this book is gonna work because we got that. I don't know if you saw that Marvel teaser for Destiny of X starting in spring 2022.
Yeah, that's not. That's not that exciting to me.
You don't like Destiny?
Not to read for the whole event.
I don't think she's like the event. I think they're just calling it that. I think she's helping make a big change. I don't know, but that's coming.
That sounds
and
boring
so
to me.
I'm still I still have questions about the gala. Is that going to happen the yearly way? Are we going to see that again in the summer? Is this X-Men team going to continue on? What's going on? I got some questions. They need to start answering some of them. Let us know these new books.
I would not be surprised if the X-Men run right now ends at some point, probably 12. Mm-hmm. And then either a new creative team is brought on with a new roster, but I don't know if they're going to do another vote too so soon.
Because that was one of the things about this issue. I felt like they were kind of sowing the seeds for the next vote with that data page with Polaris and her note to North Star.
And next time it should be you.
Yeah, she was like, next vote, you should definitely throw yourself up there. So it's are we already thinking about the next vote?
Right.
That's kind of anticlimactic.
Yeah. It would end up being a very dry run if we just got straight to the next vote and the whole new team again.
Like I said, it's big superhero fanfare. I get it. I get what it's supposed to do. I just wish I clicked with it a little bit more, and I wish the characters click with each other in my eye. I'm pretty sure it does for some people. I'm picky
though. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and take a break, and then we'll come right back.
All right. Hello, everybody. We are back for the panel of the week, which is Lifting Up the Ladies. 5 female characters that you would think could get a nice little solo push.
Yes.
Also, keep in mind that solo push sometimes mean being in a team book and just getting a bigger push as a character in their lives.
Yes. So this kind of all came about because I had thought about everybody's dislike for my girl, Captain Marvel.
One? Oh yeah.
Anyway, for my girl, and I'm always well, y'all, if you look at Marvel's roster, they kind of don't have that many prominent solo female characters. A lot of the DC characters were pretty much from inception created to be their own solo character.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of the women were a part of teams, or they never got any of those kind of push like to be kind of a solo character. After She-Hulk, there aren't
Okay.
too many like all of the prominent female characters are all X-Men, so they're all like a part of like a team or whatever. As
Yeah.
far as the outside of the X books, after She-Hulk, like there's not too many. There aren't too many solo female characters. Wasp, I guess. Scarlet Witch.
No. I guess Wanda a little bit. A little
And
bit.
then after that, see, we get a little shaky. So I just always wondered what would happen if they gave, someone else the same kind of push that they kind of gave Carol. Carol was already kind of like in turn to take up a mantle anyway from Captain Marvel because she was already tied to that character. But like they really had to push her into that spotlight to get that for her. So like, what happens if they could have did that for anybody?
Yeah, no, I feel that. I feel that. So each of us have 5 ladies on our list that we like to talk about and just discuss a little bit why we think they should be hot, what they could do. Do you want to do like a trade-off? You go first. I'll go first.
Let's do a trade-off. You go first.
Okay. So my first character is actually one who has been solo before. I've actually done a relaunch on her. But over the years, her star has fallen a little bit. But I would like to rise that, and my number 1 choice is Dazzler.
I knew it was gonna be her.
Always no. I'm sorry. I'm a huge Dazzler fan, and I'll never not be a huge Dazzler fan. I think that 80 solo series is just like some really great stuff that you see about this girl. Really, it's like just a make it or break it story. She just happens to have powers, and she happens to have mutant abilities, and I think that even her journey, kind of like joining the X-Men, it's always felt a little lackluster. Like she's been there, she's kind of been around, but like when she is, they either make it a point to say that she doesn't really want to be there because she want to be out singing, or like she's there and she wants to be there, but she still doesn't really have anything to do. And I think just kind of keep that allegiance there, but like let her go do her own thing. The mutant pop star ambassador, like girl who gets involved in all these things and like politics and stuff, like that's a very viable story to me. And then I even think when you think about music right now, like the disco sound in '70s is like hot. Everybody loves a nice little throwback, and even though it is kind of
those Dula People songs.
Okay, I'm going to that concert. All right. But I even think, even though it's kind of like canon for Dazzler that she's a bit of a flop, the songs don't hit the way they're supposed to. She's like a Kylie Minogue a little bit, like very popular with her like crew and the gays, but like, yeah. So
they don't hit like it used to, baby.
Okay, and I think with Dazzler, I'm sorry, who don't like a little white girl story where they just doing what the people eat that up.
Yeah, it's cute.
She's corny, she's fun, she's cute. Let her have her things, and she's powerful. Like the girls love to talk about power levels, but they like to leave my sister out of it. She be burning.
They do. They don't never mention her.
She be making holographic images. She be doing like hard light constructs. She's like, she can do it all. All right.
All her feats are from like the 80s. That's probably why don't people know, because no one likes to go back and read older stuff, But I feel like if you go back and check a lot of that older stuff with her, she was eating the girls up, yeah.
She used to take the people on. She used to fight Enchantress. She would fight the Hulk. She fought like Spider-Man villains. She had this rivalry going with Spider-Woman that was real hot. I think they should bring that back. Yeah. So she hated Rogue. She used to beat Rogue up on a regular.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, all right, then let me tell you who my first character is. This one is a character who I'm genuinely shocked that they haven't gotten the solo push, the one that I think, in my opinion, they deserve to have, and one that they could end up being a very huge character for Marvel. Just look at her, and that is Spectrum. Like, you would think by now that she would have had a solo series, but she never has. She unfortunately was caught up in legal stuff. She was only named Captain Marvel because they needed to retain the rights to the name Captain Marvel. when they were launching this character, she had already had a different name or something, I think, at that time.
Yeah.
Well, the creators were going to name her something different, but they needed to keep Captain Marvel, so they just stuck her in that title. And ever since then, she's just kind of haven't really found her footing until, in my opinion, they found her as Spectrum and stuck with that and
That
kept moving
sticks.
from there.
Because they went through a couple of names for her.
Photon, Pulsar, I think was one. It was not cute. Just too many. But yeah, I think that she should really become Spectrum, the solo character, and really showcase herself as a solo character and a solo character within Marvel. She can stand on her own. She doesn't have to be always tied to Carol. I wouldn't even put her anything with Carol. They don't even have any ties together outside of both being called Captain Marvel at one point.
They're they haven't built up a stronger friendship or something over the years? Isn't that supposed to be the thing?
Yeah, they're friends. Yeah, they're friends. Yeah.
No, okay.
I mean, they're friends. It's whatever. They're not besties, I don't think. But anytime Carol is down in the dumps or whatever, Monica does come through and console her, and they talk and call each other sometimes and stuff. So
okay.
Cool. In my thing for her, I think she should just have her own solo thing, have her own villains. Back in the day when she was a solo character and she was doing things on her own as Captain Marvel, one of her villains was Blackout and Moonstone. And I think that's perfect for her. Her villains, Blackout has the Dark Force powers, so that is something, and light can't really get through that. And Moonstone can phase through stuff, so I think those can be really cool for her. And she's basically like Carol, so
okay,
that's something. So I put her with that. They've been doing some great stuff with her in the MCU. They could actually, honestly, if they want to do that whole synergy, give her, Sword. If they ever take Sword back and make Sword more like a general Marvel Universe thing.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that. I like Spectrum. She's cool.
She's hot.
Okay. The next up on my list, she is another one who's had the solo attempt before, but I think I'd like to just kind of take it to the next level. Is my girl, who I feel doesn't get enough respect, but it's Mockingbird. All right.
She deserves, yeah.
I think that we look at Black Widow a lot as the spy girl, and we see her doing all her stuff, and I feel we kind of look at Mockingbird and remember, oh, she's also a spy girl, but she's a spy girl in a different sense because she's kind of on the sciencey side of it and the secret agent, and she's more doing that. But I think that's a very viable place for everyone to go. I think of when they had the Avengers AI type of group where they had them leading the machines. She could do stuff like that. She's a biochemist. We're not calling her Dr. Bobby every 3 pages, but we could. But we could. And, I think Mockingbird is super cool character anyway. I'll always champion that one little solo series she did have earlier from Chelsea Kane. I actually went back and reread some of that stuff. I forgot that Joelle Jones was doing the art.
Oh, that's hot. Okay.
And I was just man, look at how far she's coming. So it made me think, because I was damn, obviously her style has improved so much since she's continued drawing. I would love to see her draw Mockingbird again now. Yeah. And just really get into that. Maybe do a nice little return to the character since she writes now. She can do a one shot. I don't think she should do more than that. But Mockingbird, Miss Bobby Morse, is another character who I think really needs that push, especially to get her away from Hawkeye. I feel they have kind of successfully separated Hawkeye from Mockingbird. You don't necessarily think of Clint and think of her anymore.
No.
But I think when you think of her, you still think
of Clint. I do sometimes think of him. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel we really need to get past that. I actually thought about that when we went back and reread Matt Fraction's Hawkeye last week, because I continued on and I was oh yeah, we need to get her away from him.
Yeah, they had that whole stuff with them in the West Coast Avengers together. They kind of basically started it over there, so
exactly.
Probably just gotta separate the two of them. Leave him in New York, and she can go to the West Coast.
Okay, doesn't love the West Coast.
Ladies, leave your man at home. Okay. All right. This next character for me is someone. I don't know if you expected me to have her on my list, but she's going to be debuting in the MCU soon in Hawkeye, and it is Echo.
Oh, wow.
I think that like Echo is actually a pretty cool character. She's has some ties to herself, but she's never really gotten like a big solo push.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're doing the whole Phoenix thing right now, but like
we don't count that.
we're all ignoring that.
We do
I
not
want to
count.
see Echo like actually be like Echo
Out
and do
there.
her own thing and like have her own solo series. Not a
Hmm.
mini series, but like an actual ongoing. I think that like there is a lot of representation that you could have with her being a deaf superhero,
Hmm.
but there's never really been an ongoing for like that kind of
Yeah,
character. It's usually a miniseries or like a this character is deaf for a little bit, so they're showcasing it there. But I think like you could really get more into her background, you know.
yeah.
So it
I'm
wouldn't be
into
mad if
that.
she maybe dipped into some villainous stuff.
I'm with it. And
That'd be
it's so interesting. I went back and I read that Marvel Voices Indigenous Voices issue, the Native American one, and I like
Mhm.
read her story, and I was like, this was so good. And I
Right.
was like, it was so good. And I was like, why didn't they get the person who wrote this to write the miniseries? But whatever, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
All right, so my next character is actually, I don't know, she's not really a villain anymore. She used to be a villain. It's Nightshade, Tilda.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, Tilda Johnson, she's a character. She popped up back in like a Captain America. She's been a villain for most of the time, but she's very smart. She actually joined that Occupy Avengers book for a little bit that David Walker was writing, because she became our version of Nighthawk in this reality for a little bit.
Okay.
I just think as she has gone on this path towards redemption and heroism, I think it would be really dope to kind of like push her. We all know Marvel doesn't have too many black women at the forefront,
Nope.
especially once you get down to the street level. Really, the biggest one is Misty Knight, and I've come to realize I don't think I really bang with Misty the way I thought I did, uh, especially outside of Daughters of the Dragon.
Right, right. It's a
so
solo thing.
yeah, so it would be nice to kind of see like somebody else be able to take that space and like do things. She has already lost the storm, so the girls don't need to be threatened by that,
Yeah.
and we can continue just like really making her own character. So
I like
she's
that.
not.
And does she still have Dark Force powers? Right?
I don't think so anymore.
Okay. Because she can't teleport or whatever.
No, no, no. So you're thinking of Silhouette.
Oh, you're right. My fault.
We don't all look alike. Okay.
Oops. My bad.
That's no. And when you said it, I was like, because I was like Dark Force. I was like, oh, maybe this is a story I didn't read, and she had Dark Force powers. I was like, she don't got them in the one I read, but then when she
I
was
was
like,
really
oh,
thinking of Silhouette.
no, not the girl with polio.
I don't think she has polio.
Oh no, she
I
got
think she
shot.
got shot.
Yeah, she got shot. I thought she had polio for like the longest time.
There's a vaccine for polio.
I mean, I thought it was just like a thing, like, oh, we're gonna have this character who has polio.
Shade.
Oh
Okay.
no.
Okay, I googled and I don't think I know who she is.
Mm.
Street level girl.
Street level. Come down. We're having a
Okay,
good time.
I see this outfit. Everyone, please, if you're listening, Google Nightshade Marvel. And of course you like her.
What do you mean?
Look at this
Hi.
outfit she got on. It's a bra and panty set.
With the thigh highs.
And a
It
thigh
is.
high boots.
It
And some
is.
guns.
And so what's crazy when in the
I
Nighthawk book,
know that.
she was in, when they changed her costume, like I think one of the creators was like, why would you change her costume? Look at how good the previous one was. This is iconic. And I was like, I know that's right.
I see. Oh, she was in Luke Cage. I never finished that.
I don't think I started it.
Yeah,
Oh
I
wait, the
still really
show.
couldn't. The show, yeah,
Oh yeah, I never made it past the second episode.
yeah. Well, what are you gonna
Oh well.
do? All right. Well, okay. My next character then is I've mentioned her a bunch, and I think it's time for her to go solo because there aren't too many telepaths that are solo out there, and it was time to separate her from her wife, and that is Moondragon. I think
I
that
had a feeling she
I
was going to be on your list.
I think that you could make Moondragon, give her a push as like a solo Marvel character. She is um fun lesbian girl. She's not the nicest girl.
She's definitely a mean girl.
She is a she's a
very
girl.
mean. But you love you a mean girl though. Because Polaris is a
Sometimes,
mean
yeah.
girl too.
Polaris is just like, girl, don't try me.
You like
Yeah.
Crystal.
Oh yeah. Also kind of a mean girl.
I
It's
actually,
not that they're mean girls. It's like, they have a little bit of like some bite to them.
Okay, is
I'd rather
that
take that than being like sanctimonious and fake.
that's a word. I'll give that. Gee. But tell me more about Moondragon. Why you love her?
Yeah, so Moondragon, my space lesbian girl. She's from Earth, but she's never really had too many adventures on Earth outside of being in the Avengers. Like sometimes she's supposed to be in the Guardians, but I think that you could bring her back down to Earth. Everyone loves a telepath. People love psychic powers and stuff. She could be a lot of fun with that. And the greater Marvel universe doesn't really have too many telepaths. Most of them are X-Men, so I think that you can kind of like just show some variety out there and stuff. So I think she'd be fine.
Okay, she's cool.
Again, because you don't have too many solo characters. And she also probably feels kind of disconnected from Earth because she spent most of her time like on Titan and learning how to beat a telepath in the first place. So I think that you can kind of show her back here.
I'm into it. I mean, I don't know. It's something about Moondragon. She just don't click with me.
Is it because she's not nice?
No, I don't know. I don't know. I don't mind a mean girl. It's just something. I don't know. She's cool. She's powerful. She's dope. She's very efficient. She's effective.
Mm-hmm.
If I need a telepath on you know what it is? I think it's just I'm very loyal to Mantis.
That's fair.
And it's just like you can't
They don't compete, and
they don't.
Mantis isn't really a telepath.
They don't. Mantis is a telepath. She's got like full telepathy. And
really, I thought it was just like not on a scale of like multiple minds and stuff.
No, she's like everything. That's why they thought she was the Celestial Madonna. She's the Celestial Madonna.
I thought that was just because it was a prophecy for having her kids. I didn't think she was that powerful of a telepath. Now, a fighter, I'll give her the fights. But, like...
Kicking ass.
She beats ass. But telepathy, I don't know.
She's that girl.
I don't know if it's giving all of that.
We might have to do a little character corner on Mantis. I told you she pops up in the Guardians game. And
yeah.
And she
I thought about getting that game. It was on sale.
You should get it. It's fun. It's so fun. You like Mass Effect. You'll love it.
I do love Mass Effect. I bought that instead. I literally bought that instead.
Okay. Okay. So, next up on my list, this is actually might be a little bit of a surprising one to you. It is Little Miss Android Jocasta.
Oh.
I don't know what it is about Jocasta, but I'm into her. I think it honestly might be because that one X-Men annual where like Betsy shed her skin and she like was all robotic, and every time I look at it,
I kind of looked like Jocasta.
She kind of looked like Jocasta, and so when I look at Jocasta, I think I kind of equate her with them. And I'm just like, because I was like, this is hot, and so whenever I look at Jocasta's design, I'm just like, this is a hot design, though. But I don't know too much about her. Like, I always know she's kind of like been in and out of the Avengers. I think I've read most of her when we did the Vision talk, and I read that miniseries, and she popped up there. But I think she is just like, she's fun. She looks cool. I think she has the powers and she can do all the stuff. I think having like the android robotic hero is always a nice little dichotomy to have to your regular heroes, and Vision can't always be the only one. If you give somebody else that forefront and that spotlight to do things, I think she can hang with the best of them. She's dope. Who doesn't love her?
Kind of cool because Wanda probably gonna feel away because if she's around Vision.
Okay, talk about it.
Hey,
it's somebody Wanda loves.
It's that man. It's that robot.
Okay. That's him down. But good for her.
Yeah.
Who you got
Okay.
next?
My next character is this this character is one that like I kind of mentioned earlier before.
Mm-hmm.
A sorcerer I kind of want to see around. I know normally I don't get with the magic stuff, but looking at that corner,
So he says.
it's not that the roster isn't that big. It's on the Marvel side.
It's really like the same 5 people.
It's the same 5 people. So I think this character could actually become more of a solo character, and that's Clea. I think that
Yeah.
like she has the whole evil dad thing going on already, that people love. She's already powerful sorceress magic. She's got the ties to a Doctor Strange. There could be more than one than just Wanda. And Wanda don't even really want to be getting up to do anything anyway. So why not just get Clea?
Okay. Wanda want to be with her man.
Exactly.
Oh, like
So,
Jean. Maybe that's why people are always comparing them.
well, yeah, they ran for their man. We're behind them. I think that Clea could really like expand the whole magic corner because like I said, when they pop up and stuff, it'll be like it's the same 5 people, but why not expand that roster?
Okay, I'm down for that. I love a magic girl, and that's actually why my last one is also a magic girl, and that is Miss Talisman from Alpha
okay.
Flight. So I don't know if like everyone, I have never read too much of the Alpha Flight stuff outside of like a couple of miniseries they might pop up in every now and again, but Talisman is just one of those characters that I think like it just feels like, why isn't she more popular than what she is? She has all the honestly the kind of the way you feel about Moondragon. It's just like she kind of has all the things that the people like in the girls. Like costumes a little skimpy. She's powerful. She's got the attitude. She can do what she can. She's a boss, and she just falls to the wayside. It might just be because she's on Alpha Flight, but let's get her out of that.
It could be Alpha Flight. Do they ever bring her up into the like magic corners often?
So I've seen most of the time they bring in Shaman, her dad, who is also an Alpha Flight member. Like I even think about during Civil War II. Was it Civil War II? When they had like that big magic moment with like all the sorcerers. And it was like
yes, that was Civil War II. That was Civil War II,
like
yeah.
Shaman was a part of that. But I was recently rereading Jason Aaron's Amazing X-Men run, and when they had went to Canada to fight like a bunch of Wendigo, she popped up there. And so I was just like, oh yeah, like look at Talisman. Why don't people use like she's hot?
Now what a
no, go ahead.
What makes her like magic different than the other girls?
It's like tied
is she like some?
It's like tied to their ancestors. And
okay.
And she really uses like a lot of healing stuff, and like kind of like medicine, like doctor, like powerful in that type of sense. But she can still do like the blast and the teleporting and all that hoopla.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was why she isn't as big.
She almost didn't make it. I almost put Julia Carpenter in front of her, but I was like, I talk about Julia a lot, so let me get Talisman.
Yeah. And she'll always have her time with and Secret Wars. I think you gotta Talisman, that whole corner, like I said, that magic corner, it's gotta be more than just Strange, Wanda, and magic.
And it's been weird to me that Doctor Strange has been like so prominent in it, because I think we've talked about it before. Like he's one of those characters, he's had a lot of solo runs, but they never seem that popular.
Right.
It's just like
you would think that to make it more popular, they would add more characters or like new characters.
Because they're all over the place. But I think they're gonna start kind of doing that more now that he's dead. We need a new Sorcerer Supreme, and with the Midnight Suns coming out, I think that whole little supernatural horror corner is gonna start popping.
And they love synergy, so and the MCU is dipping into magic now too. So okay. Well, then my final character is she was already kind of mentioned on here because she is, I guess, allegedly a mean girl, and that is Crystal.
You know what's crazy? I actually just saw someone posted on Twitter the other day a panel of Pietro like saying something to Crystal about how she hurt his feelings, and she lied to him. And you know what her reply was? Shut up.
I love her. How can you not love her?
And I was just like, look at classic.
I think that Crystal can totally support herself as like more of a solo kind of character, tie her into more of like the environment and stuff with her powers, go full Avatar with her abilities. And she's already got ties to literally everyone in the Marvel universe. She's been an Avenger. She's been on the Fantastic Four. She is the princess of the Inhumans and stuff. So she has plenty of ties with everyone, where she could kind of really cement herself as like a solo character within the Marvel universe. And her powers are cool. I think that, like, you know, the elemental stuff is never really shown, so why not just give it to the one girl and go off and do it?
Let her do it. I like Crystal. I always think about that all new Inhumans run that was written by James Asmus.
I like that.
Yeah, that was like really cool, and I think it was nice to see her kind of be in this position of diplomacy. She was also trying to help the mutants, which is like,
she was trying.
Not many people do that, so shout out to her.
She's about it. She just also don't really care about men. And can you blame her?
Tragic. You know, and it was really kind of difficult to do this list because I started thinking about like all the women in Marvel, and I was like, gosh, there are really a lot of female characters, and they just like do not be on it. You know, I was thinking about someone when they do try and give them the push, and then it kind of stops. I thought about Angela and how they were really pushing her for a little while.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, is she even in the book right now?
I don't know. I think the whole thing with her being Thor's sister, I don't know if that hit enough for people to really latch on to her and kind of want to keep her around.
It didn't for me. I can tell you that much.
And then when they changed it in the MCU and it was Hela that was like that, it was.
Oh dang! I didn't even think about that.
And then there's no point of people really getting into Angela.
Will he get another sister?
I mean, they love that trope, so. Sure.
They do. I don't think I would mind Angela coming back, though. She need a new design. Both of them I was not that big a fan of. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, so you don't like her bra and panty set?
No. It wasn't. I did like her headpiece, though. That was her. So the thing about her bra and panty set was she had on that giant belt. Hold on. Let me look it up.
Yeah.
I'm about to look it up right now. What's her name?
I didn't really like that whole, like, the DNA helix thing that was always around her. I didn't really get that.
Oh yeah, this wasn't cute. It was weird. Yeah, they gotta change that. What were the like ribbons? Did the ribbons do anything?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't know if those did anything or what they was the point for, but
the girl saw Betsy's little tassels on her pink costume. Like, all the girls can't pull it off. I'm sorry.
No.
That's who should be a solo star. But
yeah, I did think this was kind of hard for me too, like looking at the list of women, because like there are so many female characters out there that they have, but they just never push them as just kind of solo characters. Because I mean, that's why after Captain Marvel, what other female solo movies would you expect them to kind of make?
They made She-Hulk a show, so
exactly.
That's
what I meant. She-Hulk was only right. I mean, that's why I've seen people kind of clamoring for a Storm solo movie. When, in my opinion, I don't know how you could do that and it not be an X-Men movie. But I totally see Disney doing that because she truly is their most prominent female character. So
yeah, but she don't need.
What else are they gonna do?
I'm sorry.
I mean,
I didn't.
Who else they gonna do? I mean, granted, Marvel, if y'all listening, we just give y'all a bunch of lists that you can kind of prop these ladies up and make them some new solo stars. Because I think you need more of them.
Like, who's she gonna fight?
I've been asking that forever. Who is she gonna fight? Who is she gonna fight where it's not? It's not just X-Men.
Who are like, they're like, who are Storm's villains? Whatever. That's not my fight. That's not my fight. We love the Dario over here. But that was the panel of the week. Let's go ahead and take a
Yes.
break, and then we'll come
Let us
back
know
and
if you
talk
guys have
about.
any of your own
Oh yeah, do that too.
any if you any of your own characters you think you can kind of lift up and want to see become like
Who
bigger
your
solo
girl?
characters and with yeah. Let's take a break and then we'll come right back.
Was that man's name Sword Master or Swordsman? It's Sword Master, right?
Sword Man. I thought it was
Is it
I thought it was
Swordman?
Sword Man.
I don't know, because I tweeted it the other day, and I think I said Swordman, but then I was like in the shower, I was like, wait, isn't it Swordmaster?
It's Swordsman.
Oh yeah, Swordsman. Okay.
Hmm.
Excellent. Good. That's what I tweeted. I was correct. Hello everybody. Welcome back to the first rewatch, another rewatch of the first two episodes of Hawkeye. They dropped on Disney Plus over the weekend. So I hope everybody had a nice little Thanksgiving holiday time, took some to watch that. Or I guess not Thanksgiving holiday time. If you're not in the States, you just watched it because hey, it's out.
Right.
But here we go. Let's talk about it. I will say, just starting off the bat, the MCU lucked out. Cass and Haley Steinfeld, they won.
Come on. They won.
There was there was no way that this series was going to be bad with her kind of like taking the lead. She's too likable.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes. She's too likable. And she kind of is Kate Bishop. Like you see her and you see Kate Bishop. And so
Mhm.
shout out to Marvel Casting because y'all did that.
Did that. She was great. I also loved how these first two episodes were like secretly just like a Kate show. Which I think
Yes.
the whole series
Which
is
I
just gonna
mean
secretly be a Kate show.
which I mean we kind of already got a little bit of a taste of when we last episode when we
Mhm.
reread the Hawkeye series. I learned not only from that series but also this show. While Clint is great, like her being there really elevates it. Like
Oh my
she really
gosh, it's a
up
whole
a
different dynamic. I was like, oh,
notch.
I've never actually been like looking at Clinton saying, "Oh, you're an appealing character," unless he's with Kate Bishop. And I was like, "Oh, she's
Exactly.
just." It's just that spunk, that exuberance, that youth that like kind of makes him more likable. Which is again what we were talking about in the series. That's how he was. He was kind of surly when he was by himself, and then once you saw him with Kate, it was like, "Oh, this is a different guy." I was like, "That's cool."
Hmm.
I liked how they talked about his loss of hearing being due to like
Yes.
all this explosions, tinnitus, more than likely.
Yes. Also, first of all, when I first started episode one,
Mm-hmm.
off the bat, we just talked about this last episode that it shows with Haley, she's like basically she witnessed Hawkeye's iconic,
Mm-hmm.
shooting the arrow swinging into the building thing. She witnessed that. We read and mentioned last week that that was actually retconned into her history in the comics that like during the Matt Fraction run, they changed it where she was like rescued by him or something back in
Mm-hmm.
the day. That's kind of what inspired her. Now, then we get to the opening credits. Marvel, y'all need to go ahead and pay them people what they are owed.
Okay.
'Cause-
First of all, the opening credits were amazing, so shout out to them for like thinking that. But also, we know where that came from.
okay, like come
And
on,
at first, because I was like, oh, did they just like ask him to draw this? I was like,
they should have.
because that would have made more sense if you were just going to completely use his style. But I also like how they did give her like a little mini origin to let us know where she had gone after the attacks of being there in 2012, which I thought was also a nice touch. I don't think I'll ever not enjoy seeing like the big events that have happened through the perspectives of other people in the MCU.
Yeah, and like the other angles and the way they saw them and the way they experienced them.
Yeah, so that was like really high. And I love for Kate, it made sense. Like she saw these people being attacked. She needed the bow and arrow. And then she kind of like went and started taking all these martial arts and fencing classes and gymnasts to be this person because she was looking up to Hawkeye. And that's what she saw
Hmm.
him do. I was like, oh, that's great. I think you've said it once
And
before.
sometimes we got to speed it up. Like we don't got to watch her learn all this stuff. She know how to fight. Let's
And
just go
she
from
did,
there.
and when fight she did, which shout out to them because she was giving. I was like, yes, this is what I need. But I love how they made it so it was like she's talented and she knows how to do this stuff, but you can also tell she doesn't do it on the regular. She's still a little
Hmm.
rusty. She's still a little needs some oil, but it's gonna be nice to see Clint hopefully train her a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sure when we get to the moments of them firing arrows together, I'm gonna live for all of the cool. I love a good tandem fight. So if they work the way there's out for them to do that, I'm definitely going to be into it. So this first episode, we pretty much dive right into like I almost called her Haley to Kate Bishop's life. And she basically destroyed this bell tower. She was like kind of dared to see if she could ring it. She did, and it ends up breaking.
Wait, pause. Did you notice the girl who she was talking to? Her name was Greer.
I did.
If they bring Tigra,
I think that's what they were trying to hint at.
I'm disgusted.
I think that was a Tigra, like, at least an Easter egg. I don't know if they're gonna fully bring her on out, but
someone I was on Twitter talking about it, and this guy Brandon tweeted me. He was like, I could see it, Tigra kind of being retconned into a new version of the Young Avengers, because like Hawkeye
that's fair.
and Tiger were on the West Coast Avengers together, and this would be like an updated version of that, and having them on the team together with Kate and Tiger. And I was like, I don't want that.
Oh, I could see it though. That's making a lot of sense. It's making a whole lot of sense. It's clicking. I mean, the little black girl that was an actress, she looked cute. So I try not to hold I won't try to have to hold the feelings for Tigra against her. But yeah, so she attacked this bell, shot an arrow at it, and it broke. Then we get over to the Rogers the Musical, which is
fantastic. I want to see it.
I am not the biggest fan of musicals. I love singing and I love the singers, but sometimes when I go to musicals, it's there are some vocal choices that the singers do that I am not the biggest fan of. So I'm just like, I could rather not do with all of this. But I thought it was interesting that they had this musical that looked very much like something Disney would have done, because I'm sure they filmed that at the place where Hamilton was filmed. So
talk about it. I love it. I was into it. I love musicals. I would go see it. I would buy the soundtrack. I would sing it in the shower. I would sing it on car rides. I'm here. Oh my gosh! I hope they actually do release the soundtrack.
Oh, they probably will for sure. Yeah.
Yes.
They was singing.
Okay.
Belting out them notes. I thought it was funny that of course, we talked about his hearing aid and stuff and how he didn't have it on, and when he turned it back on, he was like, I don't really need to pay attention. Like, I was there. And Ant-Man was not there.
I know, right?
So I thought that was really cute to see. And then seeing, like, his reaction to seeing Black Widow up there on stage, and like, he'll never really get to have her around again. And the little Black Widow girl in the audience wave at him and kind of bring back those feelings and stuff. So that was interesting to see how things are kind of progressing there. So yeah, then we get into it and we see that I was not expecting them to kind of bring back the whole Ronin thing, but it does make sense that they were going to kind of wrap up what he did while he was in
that suit.
In that suit.
Which kind of reminded me that I'd really actually like to see Ronin pop back up in the comics. It's a hot look. A new character in the suit. But I agree. It was nice to see it. It's nice to see that they're not really letting that time go for Clint and like what he did. Because again, the Avengers movie were never really about him, so we never really got to see like too much into it. So I like how we're kind of getting there with this.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty interesting to see. We find out that the Ronin suit is now being like auctioned off at this auction that is happening undercover at a charity event, which is funny that we get to this event and we see Kate Bishop's mom. And here, what does she have on?
She was looking good. The bob. She knew the business.
Yep. Brought out that bob and her dress. And I did like the fact that her mom explained to her, you have been young and rich your whole life, but you probably think you're invincible. So I did appreciate that, like, they aren't shying away from Kate is rich, like, which makes sense because she.
Okay, when they were auctioning all stuff and they first like talked about it, and the first bid was like $2 million, I was like, oh, there's money in the room.
Okay, this is real money.
I was like, go
So yeah, they end up like auctioning off the suit down there. An explosion ends up happening because the tracksuit mafia ends up breaking in, and Kate Bishop ends up taking the suit, putting it on, and she ends up becoming the new Ronin for a bit. She is beating ass in this suit
She
with
looks good.
all these wine bottles. She was really cool looking in it.
Hmm.
I like the way that they kind of spun the whole tracksuit mafia thing and how they kind of get them involved. Because I remember in the comic, it was more so that like they were owning the building that Hawkeye was also living in, and that's kind of how he got his ties in with them. But now it's more so like they had a run in with Ronin, who was just
And
a
now
character over
that,
there. That's kind of now that's how they brought them in, which I thought was cool.
yeah, that was
Honestly,
dope.
this entire series so far, only with these first two episodes, it looks like they were like, oh, let's just do this. They looked at the Matt Fraction Hawkeye run and was like, we don't even got to try too hard. Like, let's just do this.
Like literally, let's just kind of take it right off the page. And I agree, but like it works. Like the Hawkeye series is well loved, and I think it would have been crazy to not just kind of say, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
let's just do this here because it's like it works so well. Obviously, these first two episodes were like amazing, and I think probably the strongest in Phase 4 that we've seen so far.
I mean, honestly, that is the truth. I would say that this is way better than Loki.
Child, that's not hard.
I'm just putting it out there. This is way better than Loki. um, so yeah, we get this really cool fight scene with her, and later on she like ends up saving Lucky the pizza dog. We haven't named him yet in the show, but like I wonder if they'll change his name. You know how they like to do that sometimes to be different, like
Oh, no, I don't think so. I don't know. I kind of feel like that would drive people up the wall.
yeah,
Like,
because I mean, the MCU been doing too many changes now where people I
mm,
think are getting a little too annoyed with stuff.
it's like, and then leave the dogs alone. You leave the animals alone, okay?
That is the truth. But she ends up saving Lucky the pizza dog, and then the Tracksuit Mafia ends up wanting to come after her later, and she meets up with Clint, who was just trying to have a little nice Christmas with his family.
Hmm.
They definitely like came up with an excuse for the mom not to be there
Hmm.
by having her back home, and of course, then this makes it easier for him to just send the kids back to her, so he can kind of stay in New
Do
York
what to be done.
and do what needs to be done. So I'm not mad at the way that they kind of wrote them out of
Mm.
there.
It needed to be done. And I also really did like the scene with the daughter and her just being like, make sure you're home for Christmas. Like, this is
Yeah.
kind of important. Like, do this. And he's just like, no,
Hmm.
I'm going to be there.
I did appreciate that too. So yeah, then we find out that Clint ends up coming up and basically trying to take the suit off of Kate.
Hmm.
Um, and he was about to punch her in the face, but then he realizes it's just just Kate, and that ends the first episode, which I thought was a great
Hmm.
introduction to all of this. You really just hopped right into Kate and to Clint. Um, and like I said, it was really great pacing. Haley Steinfeld is fantastic.
She's like fantastic. I was drawn in the entire time. Again,
Hmm.
she's so likable. She's very bubbly. She's like a good actress. She, this is hot. I think this might be the Emmy right there.
It's coming.
Just letting you know. This might be the
She's
one.
submitting for everything for sure. Um, and then we start with episode 2. We're going back to Kate's apartment, which is she ends up it's actually her aunt's apartment. She's gone for the winter, which like Kate must come from money for
Okay.
everybody these nice apartments, but in New York, in Manhattan, like hello,
Here. Yeah.
um, that's expensive. So they end up going into this apartment and they're like chit chatting. Kate and Clint are trying to figure out what they should do with this, how to get the
Mhm.
suit back. And I liked the kind of not father daughter, but very like mentor mentee kind of moments already that they're kind of establishing with the two of them. She put the band-aid on her head the wrong way,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh, that's not how you seal up your wound," and kind of helped her there. I really did appreciate that they were kind of really showing their kind of mentor things between the two of
Yeah.
them.
It was amazing. Really
That-
good. And again, I think it's just one of those things where it finally kind of softens Renner's Hawkeye up a little bit in a way that we hadn't seen too much before in the MCU. And even like some of his moments with Nat where they tried to do it, it was kind of like, I don't even want to see Nat and him together. They talking about killing everybody.
Right.
Here it's like we're getting like Dad Hawkeye, like overseer, protector, like, oh, okay, this is someone who I can gel with.
Yeah, which is really nice to see. So they end up going back to her own apartment where you know, she is still kind of a noob and didn't really follow everything correctly or try to do things that like maybe a secret agent or like a Hawkeye would, because he is asking her like, did anybody follow you with this suit? Does anybody know where you were? And she's like, oh no, nobody followed me. Only thing I did was I went back to my place and like dropped it off. And he's like, then all of a sudden a Molotov cocktail is thrown into the window and she's like, oh yeah, I forgot my name is on the buzzer. And it's like, yeah, girl.
And again, the Tracksuit Mafia was cool. I liked them. They did them really well. Like they were actually funny, and like the bros and stuff were on point. They did a good job with them.
Truly, it was like they just ripped it straight from the page. Like it was like right from the comics. So the Tracksuit Mafia is in there trying to attack them. They got some cool moments where a Hawkeye ends up catching one of the Molotovs and throwing it back at them, and they escape. Kate's entire apartment ends up like on fire, so she can't really go back there.
You know what's crazy about that scene? Like when the sprinklers came on, I was actually at work the other day, and I was telling somebody how that is one of my irrational fears in life, and like being in a building where all the sprinklers go off.
What?
I don't know, like I just didn't because the thought of that like terrifies me. And then at the end she's like, oh my god, like all my stuff. I'm like, yes.
Right.
I was like, I'm sorry. I know it's supposed to save your life, but I do not want sprinklers in my place and destroying all of my things. Or like just
it's just things though. You can get new things.
That's so expensive.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's fair. It's like, oh my gosh, I like sprinklers. So I just thought about that.
Well, all the sprinkles went off in her place and all her stuff was gone. So they end up leaving up out of there, and they end up being like basically on the run now from the Tracksuit Mafia swordsman, who is now getting. Well, I guess we're gonna call him swordsman. He goes by Jack on the show, but I think his name is Jacquees in the comics, I think. But they're calling him Jack. I know him as swordsman who like grew up with Hawkeye. They both were supposed to be carnies before Hawkeye became Hawkeye. So I wonder if they're gonna kind of tap into that like maybe they knew each other back in the day or something, or if they're just gonna have swordsman just be just a villain,
I can see that. I also like really liked what they did with how he's into swords and like his sword play, and then that eventual like kind of thing with him and Kate where they fenced against each other. I was like, that's really dope. He has so much charisma, the actor. Like I was drawn into every scene that he was in. I find him likable. He might be a bad guy. I might be okay with that.
I mean, you know how I feel about those kind of characters, so it is what it is. Let them speak.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jack is there, and he's gonna get married now. He's engaged to Kate's mom.
Yeah.
Kate does not like any of that at all whatsoever. She definitely gets bad vibes from him. Comes to find out, she thinks that he is the person that killed his uncle, basically. He was the third. I forget their first name. Armand the third.
He was the third of at least 7.
At least. Right. Emphasis on at least. So he was the third, but he ends up dying. He was going to give the inheritance basically to Jack. So obviously we see who's probably the one doing it. And later when Ronan, or Kate Bishop as Ronan, she sees the dead body, it definitely looked like, a sword went across that man's body. So it looks like him. Who knows if there's some change, but
it might have been our mama.
Could be. Do you think
the Bob that you know something's up?
That is true. You know what? I didn't think about that.
You know something's up.
I didn't think about that. I'm gonna have to pay closer attention to her. Some people wondered if she was gonna be Madame Mask.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. That Bob might give it away.
I'm into it. I think that's a nice reimagining for Mask too, and the like Kate and Mask feud.
Instead of making it just like another feud, it's her mom.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see. We'll say that. I definitely think Madam Mask is going to be maybe not in this season, but at least mentioned, and they'll probably get a season 2 of this.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if by like the next episode it's greenlit.
No, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. So we have this really cool fencing scene between Jack and Kate, where Kate obviously is like, he's letting me win and showing that, he isn't exactly who all he says he's supposed to be. Uh, yeah, and then later on we
Mama
get some.
seemed cool with it, by the way.
Right,
So
she didn't seem too upset.
it's like, again, lets you know something's up.
Yeah, she didn't seem that pressed about any of this. So then later on we get Clint, who ends up getting captured by the tracksuit mafia. They took a bat to his leg and then they take him over, which was interesting to see from having just read the comic that this was based off of, where we talked about he gets knocked out a lot, like,
Yeah.
and you don't have no powers, so like,
You get it.
you're really getting hurt. So the tracksuit mafia takes them, and it ends up being more than just like 6 guys, it's like a truckload of them. Earlier though in the episode, we see him have a conversation with his wife, where she's like, what's going down, which I love a ride or die kind of relationship like that, where she's like, all right, I'm here with you. He says, it's gonna be a normal, I forget what he called the tactic, but the wife followed it up with like, oh yeah, that's one of Nat's old moves, which turns out he was gonna
catch and release.
Yeah, catch and release. Yes. And she was like, oh, that's one of Nat's old moves. And then we see when he goes up against the Tracksuit Mafia, it was obvious he was about to do the whole thing that she was doing in Avengers 1, where she was getting the information from the Russian people, which I thought was really cool, a cool nod. But of course, that ended up not going the way that it was supposed to, because who comes crashing through the ceiling but Kate Bishop, because she wanted to help. And then they both get tied up.
Yeah. Poor girl. Heart was in the right place. Love that part.
She really tried. So we'll be seeing what happens next episode, how they end up getting up out of this. And the thing about them is they're regular people, so I'm sure there's going to be a lot of them like hurt and injured after this one. So
yeah, and I always appreciate that about my street level heroes, that like when they show that they're going through it a little bit, like, oh, we won't do this on the regular, like this hurts.
You're right. So they tie them up, and of course it's time to come talk to the boss, who Hawkeye had been saying this entire time, I don't want to talk to any of you guys, I want to talk to your boss. We get to the boss, and there's this room playing, and this music which is really, really loud, and this woman turns around, and who is it? It's Echo. And sure enough, it looks like Echo is like the head of the Tracksuit Mafia, which, while that I just had said that, like, with her being a solo character, I was like, maybe she can even go like a villain route, maybe something like that. So I'm into this for sure.
I'm here for it. I'm so excited for the next issue so I can see her. The Kate, when we get that eventual like Kate, Echo, Yelena 3-way fight scene.
Oh yeah.
I'm screaming.
Yeah, that's gonna give. That's gonna be like, as soon as Yelena pops up in there, I know that's gonna be hot.
I can't wait. I'm so excited.
But now, what would you rate these first 2 episodes here? Would you recommend it, or would you say skip it?
Definitely highly recommend it for anyone who A, loves the MCU, B, likes Hawkeye, wants to get to know Kate Bishop, or you just want some good TV to watch, because these first 2 episodes were like really good TV. If I had to rate them, honestly, I like 4.5, almost 5 out of 5. I didn't see anything wrong with them. They were like, again, likable leads, action was giving, the story is nice, antagonist is building up. I'm into the mystery, into the Tracksuit Mafia. I'm here.
Yeah, I'm into it. I would definitely recommend this for both people who like the MCU and people who may just want to jump into it, because it's pretty easy to digest what was going on in this. You didn't need to have a big tie to anything before. They kind of showed you what you needed to know. And I would probably rate them 4 out of 5 each. Definitely a 4s for sure. Each episode for sure. I enjoyed them both. It's a very solid openings. I think, like, low-key, I'm a Kate Bishop fan. I think I kind of like her. She's a fun girl.
Cool. I think I'll be a Kate Bishop fan.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to be building towards the young Avengers,
Yeah.
for sure. So it'll be fun to see what they whatever do with that.
Hopefully, no Tiger.
They're gonna bring a boy on it, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We back.
All right, y'all. Definitely let us know what you guys think about the first 2 episodes of Hawkeye. If you enjoyed them, if you didn't really enjoy them, let us know that too. So that brings us to the end of the show. Make sure you guys rate and subscribe us wherever you get your podcasts. We really appreciate all the love and support you guys have been showing us out there. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Another Relaunch. You can watch us on Another Relaunch TV on YouTube. You can find me on most social media platforms at Uncanny LZ. Keenan, where can they find you?
You guys know you can find me at Keenan Lance on Twitter and Instagram. There is an underscore at the end.
Boom. All right, let's get up out of here and we will check y'all next week.
Peace out.